Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one. Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Tell me. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Tell me.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. The moss covers. Three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia.
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
number 4, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to lift.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for King of Sports. Joining me, of course, to talk King of Sports and the entire King of Sports universe, Ring of Honor, CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course, and Revolution Pro in the United Kingdom. Big boy Mikey, how are you, man?
Buddy, how's it going? Good.
Yeah, I'm fairly well. I've had a bit of issues this week. I've broken a tooth. I popped a flat tire on the car, and then the car, while we were freaking changing the tire with the hazard lights on, the battery ran out, and then we had to push it around. I've had a week, my friend. I've had a week.
Disaster.
I'm pretty sure my entire paycheck tomorrow is dedicated to fixing all the problems I've had over the last week. So, you know, wrestling's good. There's been some good wrestling.
Yeah. A little bit quieter than the week before for us, I guess. I mean, the week before we had things like Wrestle Kingdom and all that, so now it's...
Oh, yeah. Well, when I say there's been some good wrestling, I'm not talking about within the King of Sports universe. Because, spoiler alert, people, there's not a huge amount going on in the King of Sports universe right now, and so this is probably going to be a short episode.
Yeah, I mean, nothing, because unfortunately, a lot of places this week have decided not to allow us to view a lot, so...
Well, let's take a shot across the bow at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hot take here. January is the worst time to do Fantastica-Mania. It always has been and it always will be, because you get real excited about Wrestle Kingdom, you come out of Wrestle Kingdom all hot, you hit New Year's Dash, you see the card for New Beginnings, and you're like, I can't wait for New Beginnings, but first, let's do a 2-week tour with CMLL that's only going to show 4 shows on the network. And like, the stuff that they do with CMLL, it's not canon necessarily either, right? So...
Right.
It's a little weird. It's a weird choice to do right after your hottest show of the year.
Right. I don't know where they could, fit it into the rest of their schedule, but I agree with you on the fact that it's just... for me, I'm going to get hyped because I am a CMLL fan, so I'm going to get hyped no matter what for this. But for... Wrestle Kingdom brings in a lot of New Japan fans. It brings in a new like you look on Reddits and you look on Facebooks and Twitters, you see a lot of posts as a New Japan fan, like, where do I start this? Where do I start that? And the first thing post Wrestle Kingdom, other than New Year's Dash, which, let's be honest, it's just Wrestle Kingdom's B show, the first thing is Fantastica Mania. And whilst I love it because it's got the CMLL talent, I'm a bit disappointed in the New Japan side of things in this tournament. I'll touch on that in a minute. But, yeah, for that to be your first, hey, let's show you this, but let's not give you the entire product in full, sucks. It's a great time, in my opinion, but they got to execute it better.
Well, I mean, I watched the first one. The first one is the only one that's
Right.
available at the moment. It's with Japanese commentary. And then they're going to have 3 more, I think, next week that are going to have English commentary that I'm looking forward to watching because I enjoyed Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. in their tag match. I see why you are so high on Cavernario. Is that his name? Cavernario, right?
Barbaro Cavernario. Oh, I got my rolls
Yes,
on.
Barbaro Cavernario. So, you see, it's hard for me because, again, watching with the Japanese commentary, it's hard to remember, wait, which guy's that? What guy's this? What's it? Who's going where? But, I was getting it in bits and pieces. And yeah, that Barbaro Cavernario guy, very much a star from the looks of things. So, like, I really enjoyed his match. He was in a match. Like, they're all multi-man tag matches on this night one. Kushida came out wearing a weird clock on his head. I don't know what that was about.
I don't understand the reference. And funnily enough, did you see one of the on YouTube? I think it was from the night one. I can't remember which of the CMLL stars it was, but in his promo at the back, it was just like, you're not going to understand this if you're not speaking Spanish or Japanese. I was like, that is such a heel thing to say. It was one of the heel guys.
But this is the thing is, they do fun, weird stuff. But like I said, none of it's really canon. I mean, in certain matches, you had people playing characters that they aren't even normally. So it's really an odd time. And I know you wanted to run down the results for Fantastica Mania, but there's like 4 nights of results here, and it's just going to be reading out names after names. And
it is so I'm going to ignore the other 3 nights. I think it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that aren't even on New Japan World. Like, it feels more like they were house shows for some reason. Like, no one's obviously going to be able to view them. Not even in Japanese. Like, it's not even on the New Japan World. But like, let's talk about night 1 at least, because that was the opener. Next week is going to be a lot more entertaining because we're going to get the English versions this weekend, especially Sunday, the first one. You're going to have Chris Charlton on commentary, and he's going to be able to just shed so much more on all of this with his knowledge. He will smash through this and make the English fans of New Japan and CMLL have it all make sense. So, I mean, like, yeah, I don't want to run through the results of the house shows as such. I'm going to call them house shows because, they're kind of dark results as such. But, like, do you want to go through the Friday night show? Because you don't need the results as such. But, I mean, we can just touch on some highlights and lowlights, in my opinion. I just want to say, this New Japan guys out of this, I don't know, there's something missing from the New Japan guys all the way up to Naito and Shingo. Like, it's just really strange. The CMLL guys that came over, nearly all of them put on an awesome display. That opening match with Templario, Taiji Ishimori, and Gato taking on, I think it was Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Audace. That was great. The CMLL guys they just came out and just killed it. You've heard me talk about Templario. He's amazing. I love his little alliance with the Bullet Club here. I would love Bullet Club Mexico to start up again. It was a thing once upon a time. I think poor Ray Bucanero, I think it is. I don't think he ever officially got kicked out of Big Bullet Club, so still technically a member, never been kicked out. But yeah, I mean, what did you think of the show? I mean, for me, it was the CMLL guys that stood out above the New Japan guys. And I like it.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I felt that, throughout the entire show, like I said, the standouts for me were the Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. stood out a lot, and Barbaro Cavernario stood out a lot. Other than that, everyone else, it was a good show. I guess Shingo, Bushi, Naito, and Terrible were a pretty good team. They worked well together. So in the main event, the LIJ, well, I can't call it LIJ because it's also LI Mexico, but the Los Ingobernables team were an exciting one to watch. But really, you could get away with just watching the last two matches, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to disagree with you. You could get away with just watching the, I don't know, there's the mid-show, I guess. I actually, for some reason, I love Terrible. I really do. And I love LIJ. You know me, how much I love LIJ. I didn't really get a lot of enjoyment out of the main event. My match of the night was actually the 6-man featuring Ultimate Guerrero, Gran Guerrero, and Cotrero against Mystico, Dragon Lee, and Angel Dioro. It was literally a CMLL showcase match. Trio team showcase. Fantastic. That was my match of the night. All 6 guys just killed it. It's interesting because CMLL are so stuck in their ways, which I love. It's traditional. They do their Lucha Libre styles, their 2 out of 3 falls, all that stuff. But single falls over here in New Japan just give it a different excitement. It's like it's CMLL but in a New Japan ring, and it's different. I love it because I've been watching so much CMLL lately. I'm just so used to these 2 out of 3 falls matches and not really understanding what's going on because I don't really speak Spanish. I don't know. I just found it a lot more entertaining on my behalf watching the CMLL guys do this single fall New Japan 8-man teams or 6-man tag team matches. I actually enjoy the CMLL guys side of it. Agree with you on Atlantis Jr. I hope he becomes. I mean, he's got a long way to go to fill his father's footsteps, but started off well. But yeah, I mean, look, that's really it about Fantastic Mania Night 1. I mean, you got much else want to talk about it, or?
Not really about New Japan. There's not really much else happening this week because half their guys are off in other places, and I guess we can talk about that. But you wanted to talk about some things with CMLL proper, yeah?
I'm not going to run through the results from Super Friday show because I think they took 20 members of the CMLL roster over to New Japan for Fantastica Mania. We were left with a very... I mean, we still had Roosh, Lebecha de Ring. We still had Ray Bucanero. I was just talking about him. Pavoro. We had a still host of decent talent, Euphoria and all that. The show was just a very weak show. It's there was no real highlights. One guy I want to talk about is Kawado-san, Hirai Kawado from New Japan. For some reason, the last 2 weeks, since he hasn't had Okamura with him, Okamura is now in New Japan with Fantastica Mania Tour, he has been electric. He is so exciting, and it's just like, where has this been? I don't know if they told him to step it up while he was away or something, but holy shit. It was amazing on Friday night, Saturday. I think he's actually going to come back as a decent junior now, Kawado-san. They need it. New Japan need it. But yeah, it was a weak show. Usually I run down the results for CMLL, but half of it was throwaway matches because CMLL didn't really try that hard on Friday night as such. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Right, because half their guys are elsewhere. Story of the week.
Yeah, so unfortunately, New Japan CMLL, which is interesting because it's Fantastic Mania season, that's all we got to really talk about in both Japan and Mexico or such. It's really... I know, not much else to talk about this week, unfortunately.
Right, so there have been 4 nights of Fantastica Mania so far, but again, only the one was actually broadcast. The other ones are smaller shows, in regional areas or what have you. So it's, it is what it is. There's not a huge amount to talk about. Over in Rev Pro, I have something I want to talk about with Rev Pro. First off, last week we talked about, we ran down some of the results, but the events were not yet uploaded to RPW On Demand, so we hadn't watched them. And you questioned why you would be getting a title shot at Zoe Lucas when she didn't win the Queen of the Ring, right? What we glossed over was the fact that she actually pinned Zoe Lucas on night 1 of the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so making her, of course, an instant number 1 contender and earning a title shot, perhaps even before the winner of the Queen of the Ring. So that's where Yu's title shot against Zoe Lucas comes from. Now, moving on to the big gripe I have. I've watched night 1 now of those 2 shows that were at the Cockpit, for the 4th and 5th of January, ringing in the new year at the Cockpit. And the second one hasn't gone up yet. And Rev Pro are normally really good with, turnaround in terms of getting their shows up. And so I'd expected the Live at the Cockpit 37, and I'd expected, was it the New Year's resolution on the 11th of January? I'd expected those to be up by now, but they aren't. And I'm a little upset with Rev Pro for that, because I really wanted to watch these shows. Park vs. Zack Sabre Jr. for crying out loud. And I haven't had a chance to watch it.
It's very interesting. Like, we're talking about this offline, but it's just strange that their website hasn't got a lot of updated information. Like, usually their news section, has all the match announcements. They, usually do a match announcement. Nothing's been added since before the Cockpit show. Sorry, before New Year's resolution last week. There's been nothing, so I don't know what's going on with their tech team. They've got an issue in their tech team. I don't know what's going on, but it is making me sad that I haven't been able to watch night 2, because I really want to start watching New Year's resolution, which is already 4 days past. I do want to run the results through that one, because it seemed like an awesome show. I've been reading fans reviews on both on Facebook and Twitter, and that people said it was a great show. It's just like yeah, you're right. It's frustrating to me, because I'm just like, I just want to watch them. And with these on demand things, you got to give them a couple of days leeway, obviously, because you want to do a little bit of editing and make sure obviously we're involved in that sort of stuff with you do your editing with a podcast and that. I guess with this technology, you got to give leeway to things that go wrong. But yeah, I don't know. It's a frustrating week, because like New Japan ain't showing everything, and Rev Pro aren't uploading stuff. Goddamn technology.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing though. We sound so entitled saying that, and I hate hearing, because at the end of the day, a lot of, especially, with New Japan, they're full-time, and I feel like with Rev Pro though, these guys probably still work other jobs. It's possible that the owner and whatnot, they make their full-time living, like Andy Q makes his full-time living off Rev Pro and what have you. I don't know for sure. But you gotta imagine, some of the people, it's not gonna be a full-time gig editing Rev Pro shows, right? That's not somebody's full-time show.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So we do have to, I like to give a little bit of leeway and bear with them and all that sort of thing. And obviously being understanding and being patient, it's very important. However, at the same time, they do have a really good track record with turning these things around pretty quickly. Maybe they've taken a belated New Year's holiday or something. They're like, we put the shows have happened and now we're going on holiday, or because it's very weird that these shows, and we're not the only ones either. There've been comments on, various forms of social media related to Rev Pro, and people aren't happy. That people are asking, where's the shows?
Exactly right. Because there is a match that I want to watch that supposedly, actually there was a couple matches on this show that supposedly were amazing on Friday night that I really want to watch now. So
yeah. So again, not much we can talk about because we already gave the results, and so we've already given results for these shows, but we just haven't had a chance to watch them. At least if we'd been able to watch them this week, we'd be able to break them down in more detail to sort of cover for the fact that there's not a lot going on in New Japan and cover for the fact that there's not a lot going on in CMLL. But unfortunately, there's not a lot going on in Rev Pro.
One thing, so yes, we touched on the cockpit shows last week, but we had the New Year's resolution show that happened on Friday night. A couple little points. I don't know. Do you want me to run through the results of that? Do you want to hear the results? All right, we'll do that.
Sure.
Because there's some interesting little bits and pieces and something that I popped for because I was waiting for the news because I couldn't watch it live. Okay, so we'll touch on that. All right, so the results. So they opened up a show with Josh Bodum and Shah Samuels. Defeating team with Dan McGee and Curtis Chapman. The Great O'Khan continues his undefeated singles run against MK McKinnon.
Great O'Khan is doing so well in Rev Pro as well. Let's just say that. Like he is he is over. The crowd are into it. I'm into it. I'm loving everything he's doing. And I hope the excursion lasts forever.
Either I hope the excursion lasts forever or New Japan are licking their chops and like he's going to be ours again soon, so he could be something big in New Japan. Like, it's working, it's happening.
I don't know if they'll bring the Great O'Khan character itself back to New Japan. I don't know why. I feel like they won't. It doesn't seem like the right
thing. On his newfound like persona sort of thing. Like, he's come out of his shell so much with this Great O'Khan character. It's fantastic. Moving along, so we had the Zoe Lucas and Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's title match. Zoe Lucas retained there. We now know how you got that, so there we go. Then we touched on that Will Ospreay was taking on Chris Brooks in this match, but one thing that I wasn't aware, well, they had it advertised, and I've seen it in the results, and I'm trying to work out how the hell this happened. The Never Openweight title was defended as Will Ospreay defeated Chris Brooks. So Chris Brooks got a Never Openweight title shot. I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, that's exactly the way I want to see that Never Openweight title. Like, that should be the traveling title for New Japan. Easy.
Yeah. Definitely. Never Openweight championship match against Slex in Melbourne City Wrestling.
I want to see the sixth man now to travel. There's no reason why Bullet Club can't bring the title down here. No.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we talk about having a Bullet Club invasion in Australia too, right?
I was calling for a Bullet Club Aussie charter to be set up down here, but anyway, that's for another time. All right, and then so we had the cruiserweight title up for grabs. David Starr retained against Kip Sabian. Then we had the special singles match of Jay White taking on Chris Ridgway, which Jay White won that. I'm going to talk about the main event before I get on to the second main event. So the Rev Pro British Heavyweight title match was defended. Zack Sabre Jr. defended against, I can't pronounce it right, you do it properly, Shigeru Iri, is that right? Shigeru
Iri.
Sorry if I offended you, if you ever hear this, Iri. Zack Sabre
You have offended me, sir.
I love my Japanese people, but
you watch Japanese wrestling and Mexican wrestling for how long, and you're not able to say any of the names? It offends me. It offends my sensibilities.
I can get used to them. Like the New Japan guys, I can. But anyway, Zack Sabre did.
Say 12 Kazuchika Okadas and
Rainmaker. So Zack Sabre Jr. Retained there. So no title changes happened on the night. So all three Rev Pro and the Never title all were defended. No title changes to be expected. It's not a major show. It's just it was a major show. But the best result of the night goes to our Aussie boys. Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis defeated the Hunter brothers, Jim Hunter and Lee Hunter. I want to say congratulations, but also commiserations, as they are now the number one contenders for the British Tag Team title. Love you, boys.
Right, which I called.
Congratulations to the boys. I love you guys. You're an amazing team. But obviously the next step is Zack Sabre and Minoru Suzuki. I know they fought him, I think it was about a month ago. It was about a week after Fletcher was down here. Oh, about 2 months ago, sorry. When Fletcher was down here. I really hope they do take the titles from them. They deserve it.
Yeah. Look, the thing is with these guys is the crowd are so into them, and I could see them losing it again, because so far every time they've lost a fight for those straps, they just get more over. the crowd want to see it more and more. Now, it's going to be a delicate line for Rev Pro to walk to figure out where that goes too far and where the crowd are going to be like, okay, we've lost interest now. It's too late. Cause you don't want that to happen, right? You want to get it at just the right moment. And I thought the right moment was last time. I thought the right moment was when they went against Zack and Suzuki for the title last time. I thought that was the right moment. And they didn't get it then. And so I'm thinking maybe they don't get it again now. I don't know why. They should, right? They should. Am I just thinking about it too much?
I'm hoping now that Zack's got the British heavyweight title that's his focus. But then again, Minoru Suzuki had both for a little bit. Who knows? I hope that they take it this time, but we'll see. They'll be they haven't announced it, but I'm guessing that's an Uprising in February, so that should be interesting to see. But that's the happenings from the New Year's resolution show. They did announce 2 new matches for the 27th show, January 27th show. Phantasmo is taking on Will Ospreay, which is going to be interesting to see if Ospreay puts up the Never title again there. And then MK McKinnon and Chris Brooks are going one-on-one on that January 27th show. So Rev Pro are really building up this core roster, and it's amazing that we talked about it last week that, you know, obviously NXT UK has had a great week. UK British wrestling is on a high again. Every time that there's something big in NXT UK, British wrestling seems to be on a high. Rev Pro are just doing the right thing, other than the on-demand issues, which I'm sure is, a rare occurrence.
Yeah, I've got an answer for that, by the way. While we've been talking, I've been scrolling through social media.
Mid-podcast research, I like it.
It all comes down to David Starr. So David Starr, that Rev Pro are doing a Q&A on Twitter, and David Starr asked, why do you conveniently delay releases of Rev Pro shows that involve excellent promos of mine, i.e. live from the Cockpit 37? And Rev Pro responded that it's a conspiracy. So they've admitted it. They just don't want us to see the brilliance that is David Starr.
There you go. Look at that. Mid-show news, guys. Mid-show research.
Breaking news from a tweet that went live 20 hours ago. Yeah, no, it's a conspiracy. It's David Starr. Well, David, here's the thing. As a fan, I just want to say I'm a big fan of your work, David Starr, and I know you listen to the show. However, don't cut great promos. There you go. I said it. Don't cut great promos, because if you're cutting great promos and they're delaying the show because it's a conspiracy against you, guess what? I want to watch the damn show, David. Take one for the team and keep your mouth shut.
Absolutely.
Now the B+ has heat with David Starr. Great. Just what we wanted. No, but moving on, I suppose. Ring of Honor actually do have a decent amount going on this week. So, we've got Ring of Honor TV and we've got Honor Reigns Supreme, and there's a few bits to pull out. But after that, I think we're just going to have to, play some New Japan theme songs to close out the show, because we're going to need to fill some time. No.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Christmas has come and gone, and with it, the disappointment of those Secret Santa staples, the shave kit, the sports hygiene packs, and seasonal socks is fading. As we roll on, though, into the new year, it's time to make resolutions. So why not resolve to look better in 2019 and get yourself the gift that keeps on giving and never disappoints? Threadbox. Threadbox is a subscription clothes shopping service which for as little as $40 per month will send you a box of personally curated goodies straight to your doorstep. I get the $160 package, which comes with over $200 worth of fresh goodies each month. Kept me looking fly for all my Christmas engagements this year. You get to communicate with the Threadbox stylist assigned to you by email regarding what it is you need, and they will tailor the box accordingly. And in the unlikely event that you don't like what they send you, you send it back, they will replace it with something new and make note of the things you don't like so that they can avoid that kind of thing in the future. Threadbox is a truly unbelievable service that no man should be living without, so head over to threadbox.com.au today and use our code TheB+15 when you check out to get 15% off your first box. January is here and we are fast approaching WrestleMania season. Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania are around the corner, so the time to dilly-dally is past us. If you want to experience WrestleMania live, and who doesn't, let's be honest, you deserve it. The best and really the only way to do it is with All Aussie Travelers. All Aussie Travelers are new to the wrestling travel package game, but they are veterans at travel, and they have put together a package that cannot be beaten. For less than $7,500, All Aussie Travelers are going to send you to New York, New York, with return flights, airport transfers, full accommodation, and tickets to the WWE Hall of Fame, NXT pre-show party, NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and more. The coolest part about these packages is that for NXT TakeOver, Raw, and SmackDown, you are going to be seated in your own private VIP suite, normally not available to the public. But All Aussie Travelers have you covered, man. They got this locked down. It has its own bar, it has its own bathroom access, and all the luxuries that a VIP box comes with, not least of which, of course, an incredible view for everything happening in the ring. All of this for under $7,500. They're practically giving these packages away, man. You'd be crazy not to check it out. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook. The link is in the show notes. And tell them that the B Plus sent you. And let's go watch WrestleMania in style. So Ring of Honor TV this week started off with Hot Sauce. Tracy Williams taking on Zack Sabre Jr. What a fantastic way to start TV. Right? Like, so we're coming off the back of All Elite Wrestling making their announcements and everything, and this is the first lot of TV tapings without the Elite, and you want to make an impression and you send out Tracy Williams and Zack Sabre Jr. Considering Ring of Honor's core audience and target audience are wrestling fans, throwing Tracy Williams and Zack Sabre Jr. out there, it was a way, it got me right into this TV episode from the get-go. Right, so they've still got a Ring of Honor.
Of course they do. They always find their way.
Yeah, and I think that's I think I called them on All the Rest. I called them the cockroach of wrestling, right? Like they can get raided. Bad things can happen. The end of the world for anyone else, but they will survive and they will truck on through. And honestly, looking at it, Ring of Honor are in a pretty good place. Like having a look at this week's TV, and we know that I don't look at spoilers, so I don't know what happens in the tapings, other than, of course, the one big thing that made headlines everywhere with the faction that has popped up. So I will talk about that loosely in a moment. But I stay away from spoilers. I like to watch the TV as it pops up. However, there was Honor Reigns Supreme as well. So watching the TV show this week and Honor Reigns Supreme, you'll find me saying a lot. Ring of Honor are in a good place right now. Like everything that they've done this week has me feeling very confident for Ring of Honor moving forward into 2019.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, about the cockroach thing, that's probably more impact. But Ring of Honor, like you said, just, they've gone through so many generations of just talent getting pulled, and, they managed to rebuild. And they didn't, okay, I love Bandito and all those guys, but they didn't go after super names. They got names that are doing good things. Guys like Bandito and guys like PCO and that Brody King. These guys that Ring of Honor will make household wrestling names out of them. And probably half of that will go to WWE, half of that will go to All Elite, half of that will stay. I mean, Ring of Honor have just always had that great eye for getting the right talent into their show, whether it's through relationships or through their own recruitment. So, yeah,
absolutely. So I will say that I've been getting up to date with the Future of Honor guys as well lately, and you can catch Future of Honor weekly. They put up a match on YouTube, and I've been getting more familiar with the Future of Honor guys, which has increased my enjoyment of when they show up on ROH shows. Obviously, familiarity in wrestling is pretty much everything, right? Like the first time you see someone new in wrestling, your reaction tends to be, who the shit's this guy? He's gonna lose, right? Like that's, unless they have like the first time you saw Walter, right? you knew he was something special. The first time you saw, I'm trying to think of someone. Uhaa Nation. The first time Uhaa Nation showed up on an indie show I was watching back when, it might have been Ring of Honor, I can't remember. But the first time I saw Uhaa Nation, I was like, this guy's awesome, right? But But then you've got guys like your Eli Isams, like your Ryan Novas, the Future of Honor guys specifically, where they've showed up and I'm like Cheeseburger, right? Cheeseburger shows up for the first time and you're like, yeah, all right, who's this loser?
Yeah.
Why is he in a wrestling ring?
Yeah.
But watching the stuff that they do in Future of Honor, it sort of puts a bit of that to bed just through familiarity, through repetition and familiarity. So anyway, moving on. So yeah, Hot Sauce, Tracy Williams, Zack Sabre Jr., fantastic way to start TV. Ring of Honor is fine, and not in the way that the Bullet Club were fine. In actual Ring of Honor is fine. Zack Sabre Jr. wins with the hurrah, another year. Surely this one will be better than the last. The inexorable march towards progress. It's such a long name. Such a long name for a move. I'm just going to call it the hurrah.
That's way too long. How are they going to get announcers to call that all over? That's just, yeah.
I'm fairly sure it's a quote.
Like some sort of song quote.
Hurrah, another year. Surely this one will be better than the last. The inexorable march of progress will lead us all to happiness. Is it's an EP by a band called Youth Movie. So it's an obscure alt rock, post rock reference that he puts in to his move, but let's just call it the hurrah. Yeah, it's the hurrah lock. That's what it is, Zach. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect you and your obscure tastes. It's the hurrah lock. So he wins the match by submission with the hurrah lock. And then I talked last week about this story, right, with Beer City Bruiser being upset because Silas Young is no longer his friend.
Yeah.
It continues. So at the behest of his friend Brian Malonis, he has decided to approach Silas, and he approaches Silas, and Silas just shoots him down. Silas is like, we aren't friends. We were never friends. That's your problem, right? And he's like, you're making excuses. You don't want to get in the ring with me because you can't hang with me, right? So we're setting up for an emotional Beer City Bruiser versus Silas Young match where Beer City Bruiser is going to be like, why don't you love me? And Silas Young's just going to be an asshole to him. I really enjoy this story. I'm a big fan of Beer City Bruiser. He's a good big man, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Yeah, and I love Silas Young. There's something about Silas Young that just oozes charisma. And I don't know, like, there was those rumors of him going to WWE about, 6 months ago? 6 months ago, there was those rumors. Thank God he didn't. Because, I don't know. I don't know how he'd come across in WWE, but I love Silas
I think
Young.
he'd make a good solid mid-card heel, no matter where he goes.
Right.
Right, like, let's be honest, he's not going to be a world champion. He's a solid mid-card heel.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
And I think he would achieve that perfectly well in WWE as well, because he's very good at it. He's very good at his job, in my opinion. And to this day, I've received a lot of things from Pro Wrestling Crate, but one of my favorite things that I've ever gotten from Pro Wrestling Crate, and I still use it every time I open a box, is my Silas Young Last Real Man pocket knife. So he's got his merch game on point too.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. The merch game's important for indie wrestlers. It's very important, as evidenced by the Young Bucks, who are now like multimillionaires off the back of their clothing empire.
Yeah.
So then we get a promo with Dem Boys talking about SCU invoking their rematch clause, and this was a really good promo. Like they're talking about, normally when people invoke their rematch clause, they have a chance, but you guys don't have a chance. We're going to put you down, and when we put you down, your tombstone's going to read "Cause of Death, Rematch Clause."
I like that. Rematch clauses are important in wrestling.
No, well, okay, let's fill some time. You like rematch clauses?
I do.
I hate rematch clauses.
But in the right way. Not just throwaway on Monday Night Raw. They need to mean something. Like, if you lose a title at Royal Rumble, I'm happy for the rematch to be inserted into Mania if it needs to be like a triple threat or something. That is where I like it. I don't like it on every single title on SmackDown and Raw every week. Literally.
It's that 50-50 booking nonsense though, right? Like where people get their wins back and then it's another rematch clause, right? And then, I don't know. I feel like, he beat you, back of the line. End of story. You lost, back of the line. That's how I feel. I I feel like wrestling is always better when you don't, like, when you look at, like, Chikara, or where they have a point system, or Underworld Wrestling where they have a point system, and these sorts of things where a rematch is not inevitable, it makes the build to that rematch even better. So when you lose the title and you want to come back and get that title back, you actually have to get better. You actually have to go on an arc of redemption before you can get it, right? Like, for me, I can't stand automatic rematches, and we'll get to one in a minute and you'll see what I'm talking about. But, so Twisted Sisters go up against Britt Baker and Madison Rayne. Baker and Madison win with it was a nice little super kick side suplex combo, but I thought this was odd having, the regular team, because the Twisted Sisters are a regular team there, to have them lose to this thrown together tandem of admittedly bigger superstars. It just felt off to me. I always hate that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that it's always going to be the way with bigger stars like that. It's always.
I don't know why. Like, I had a massive rant when, Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns, and they're feuding, and then they lost a tag match to the Revival. And I'm like, these guys don't even get along. I hate it. I hate it when an established tag team lose a match to just two single superstars thrown together. But then we get proper tag teams. SCU versus the Briscoes, and the Briscoes win after a whole bunch of ref bump shenanigans. They actually, it was an interesting ref bump this time. They did like a Hurricane Rana to the outside, and the guy taking the Hurricane Rana, I think it was Jay Briscoe, bumped into Todd Sinclair and he went down. And so they had a whole situation, and the Briscoes end up picking up the win because of it, because the chairs get introduced, and we know how dangerous the Briscoes are with chairs. So this was a fun little match. We've seen SCU versus Briscoes a lot, and having an interesting ref bump scenario really helped lift the match up. And then the main event wasn't the main event. So then we had a promo segment. Marty was going to come out and cut a promo about getting a world title shot. And of course, as Ian Riccaboni pointed out on commentary, if you say world title 3 times, much like Beetlejuice, Matt Taven will appear and declare himself the real world champion. So he comes out with purple belt over his shoulder, and he's like, he's got the kingdom with him, and they surround the ring, and they're like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment for so long, Marty, to get you alone. Your friends have left you. You're all alone. And then, lights go out. Marty says, my friends have left, but, it doesn't mean I can't make new ones. The lights go out. Boom. Brody King. Huge pop. Lights go out again. Come back on. Boom. PCO. Even bigger pop. Villain Enterprises is formed. Villain Enterprises debuts, and they have their moment as the show goes off air. It was a really solid episode of TV.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, this Villain Enterprises, I love that. I was witness to technically the birth of it here in Sydney. I like it.
I love that World Series Wrestling are doing stuff like that. Like, we get previews of what's going to happen in other places.
Yeah, essentially. And it's like they're 3 like misfits, odd characters that, 6 months ago you said if these 3 were a team, I'd be like, what are you talking about? That just sounds ridiculous. But no, it's awesome. Very awesome. It's a weird combo of youth and experience, and it just works. I don't know, it works.
Yeah, they had their first match as a trio at Honor Reigns Supreme, and they work superbly well together, like really well. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so it was a great episode of TV. I'm looking forward to more. I like Villain Enterprises. I think that they make sense as a team. A lot of people are saying that they wanted Marty, Marty's friends have left him, and now let him have a solo run. Let him rise to the top. He will. He'll just have his 2 goons there,
Right.
That's what a villain does. Yeah. So he's going to have his 2 goons. It's going to be great. But to see them facing off against the Kingdom first up, really good introduction to the territory. Cause of course people aren't going to boo PCO and Brody King. So it's going to be, they're going to be faces for now as they take on the Kingdom, which is going to be lots of fun. Now, we can talk about Honor Reigns Supreme, or we can talk about I think we'll talk about the other stable that doesn't make sense. Because people, like you said, people say that Villain Enterprises doesn't make sense. And there's another stable that has formed in Ring of Honor called Lifeblood that a lot of people are saying, what a random assortment of people. Like, what ties these people together? I can tell you after we talk about Honor Reigns Supreme, because a lot of the groundwork for what this stable will be is laid throughout this episode of TV we just watched and Honor Reigns Supreme.
Okay.
Were you on the fence there too? Were you like, it's a weird stable?
I was on the fence of it, but in a good sense. I like... Yeah, okay, I know there needs to be some sort of connection or something, but I don't know, when I saw this team together, I was like, I like it. It's a great mix of people, and I like it. It's different.
Right, we'll get to it in a second, so let's just go through Honor Reigns Supreme real quick. Josie Quinn, Corey Hollis, and Sean Schuyler start the show, and they claim to be the newest, toughest three-man group in all of Ring of Honor, which is really funny considering we just, like, on this week's TV saw the debut of Villain Enterprises. But they're like, we're the newest, toughest group in Ring of Honor. So then out come the Shinobi Shadow Squad. That's Eli Isom, Cheeseburger, and Ryan Nova. They had a really fun opening match. They get the win with the Oyasumi. The Oyasumi is a double stomp assisted DDT. So essentially, Ryan Nova and Eli Isom hold their opponent in an assisted DDT position, and then Cheeseburger jumps from the top rope and does a double stomp onto the back into the DDT, if that makes sense. Like, if you can picture that in your head. So it's a really cool trios finisher, and they continue their winning streak, which they've started up on Future of Honor, which is really fun. Now, I love this because I have complained so much. You know this, Mikey. I do it right here on this show. Losing my voice still. I've done it right here on this show. I complain a lot that the 6-man titles don't have enough real 6-man teams.
Yeah.
They're fixing that. They're building 6-man teams, right? Of course, we've got the Lifeblood we're going to talk about soon. You've got Villain Enterprises coming in. They've just debuted this new Josie Quinn, Corey Hollis, and Sean Schuyler as a bunch of jobbers. You got the Shinobi Shadow Squad as kind of, they're jobbers, they're Future of Honor guys. They're going to be lower card. But Eli Isom, I think they have a real future for Eli Isom. So they're building him up for sure. And these guys are on a bit of a streak here. So they might even go through a bit of a run towards the titles potentially. And then as well, you've got the tandems with Bully Ray and his little group of Chaos Makers. So there's potential here for a decent 6-man tag division, which gets me hyped, Mikey.
I like it. Yeah. I like 6-man teams. I don't know. A lot of people, I've spoken to a lot of people that don't understand the hype behind 6-man matches. As a Lucha fan, I've always loved it. They're good fun. It's a good way to get most of your talent on TV to start with. And I find them so enjoyable. You know, I'm a guy who loves a one-on-one match, but I also love a multi-man matches when they've got purpose behind it, not just throwaway 8-man matches. I understand the need for them, but when they got purpose, I like them even more. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, look, anyone who's not sure on 6-man matches, anyone who thinks there's no such thing as a good 6-man match or 6-man matches can't carry a show or whatever, go watch, like, if you don't want to, the barrier to Lucha can be quite high, but go watch Chikara. Go watch King of Trios. They do 3 shows a year where it's carried heavily by this Trios tournament, and you will not be disappointed, right? And Chikara showed me that 6-man tag matches can be some of the best matches you'll ever see. So, thank you, Chikara, for that. And thank you, Ring of Honor, for taking your 6-man division seriously. Well, it seems like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to jump the gun and say they're taking it seriously, but it looks like they're starting to build somewhat of an actual 6-man division, which is very exciting for me. I love it. So then we move on, and Mark Haskins is making his big debut against Beer City Bruiser. Straight away, there's Ring of Haskins chants and Ring of Haskins signs, which makes me really happy. I'm a big fan of Beer City Bruiser too, which I already talked about. So they have a really good match, very, very stiff shots throughout. And I mean, I'd call, when I say really good match, a gentleman's 3, a good 3-star match. And after the match, Bruiser offers him a beer as Code of Honor adherents, and they sort of cheers and go their own ways. Then we get Thin Juice versus Best Friends. And we get, Best Friends are still together in Ring of Honor. And we get the nice little line by Colt Cabana, delivered in only the way Colt Cabana can. Chucky T just hasn't really been himself lately when he's in Japan. It's just like the travel makes him grumpy.
Yeah, I mean, Cold Cabana is just...
So ultimately Finn Juice pick up the win. And then this is interesting, when they go for the Code of Honor, Trent Beretta snatches Juice's IWGP US title out of his hands, kind of slaps it onto his chest and taps it. You know, like the I'm coming for you kind of thing.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, so then they shake hands, but they do the whole I'm going to pull away and stare at you kind of shake hands. So it's very contentious. It looks like Trent Beretta and Juice Robinson may be doing something, whether it's in Ring of Honor, whether it's in New Japan, but they may be doing something for the IWGP US title. We could even see that at Madison Square Garden, potentially, depending on how long they want to play it out. I think that's a really good match for the Garden, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's something I'd be interested to see. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so if they build it the right way, I think it could carry to the Garden. But if not, it looks like Beretta and Juice is going to be a thing for a bit here. Then we get Kenny King joining the announce booth for Flip Gordon versus Tracy Williams. This match is very unfortunate. Flip very clearly hurts his knee on a drop kick in the middle of the match, and he gets up and he tries to continue, but ultimately he rolls out of the ring. Todd Sinclair calls the match off. And in an odd moment, Kenny King just goes off on Ian Riccoboni. And I don't know if they were just filling time while they figured out what was going on with Flip. But yeah, Ian Riccoboni had been saying that Flip Gordon could very well be the next Ring of Honor champion. And Kenny King's just going off about, he can't even finish this match. He can't even finish this match, and you think he's going to be the champion. You are terrible at your job. I hope you have a terrible birthday. And then takes off his headset and storms off. And Colt Cabana, who went to check on Flip, he comes back and he's just like, what did I just miss? It was a very awkward moment.
I'd say it's, like a bit of a filler to sway the crowd from the injury, I guess. But yeah, no, it's interesting where they're going with that. I'm guessing King of Flip when Flip gets back.
But Flip is actually injured. We've found out since that both Flip and Chris Sabin injured their legs over this weekend of tapings and on Reigns Supreme. So, you know, best wishes to Flip and Chris Sabin. Hope they get better soon. We'll find out more about what the injuries are as we move forward, I guess. And this could affect Flip Gordon's bookings in Australia because he's meant to be coming down with World Series Wrestling.
Right, exactly. And I know Flip only just recently re-signed with Ring of Honor, but I don't know if All Elite were looking at, bringing him in as well. Because obviously he's a vital part of the whole being the Elite team. Or he was, because there's no sign of him on being the Elite this week. I feel his relationship with the Elite is potentially over. But, it's been a bloody rough week for injuries. I mean, a lot of people, not just overseas, but here in Australia, have been succumbing to injuries, which sucks. But I hope there's Plan B for Flip down here in Australia for World Series Wrestling. I'm devo that I'm not going to be able to see him again because I was hoping for the flipping machines of Flip and Brian Cage down here. But
yeah. I mean, in the past, they've still come down when injured to do like meet and greets and stuff like that. So Flip may still do that. I guess it's going to depend on the extent of the injury. I mean, he may be good to wrestle. We'll find out. Only time will tell. Yeah. Then we get the team. I talked about this team last week: Luchasaurus, Hurricane, and Delirious. This is another 3-man team that they're sort of looking at here, but they didn't win here. Spoiler alert, because they're up against the Kingdom. The Kingdom are the champions. Yeah. And I said it might be fun to let them get a win here, and then they have a title match down the line. But no cigar there. Fun match though. TK had a nice spot where he tried to control the green team, so they were all in the ring, and he's doing like the Jurassic World, whoa, and putting his arms out and doing that pose and stuff. It didn't work. Luchasaurus is not as easy to control as a Velociraptor, apparently.
Yeah. I love that Delirious is on screen again. I love Delirious.
Yeah, Delirious is great. But I feel like he's in the twilight years, and so he only comes out every now and then. But House of 1,000 Horses gets the win for the Kingdom, and then we move on to what was my very, very clear match of the night. This match was incredible. Bandito versus PJ Black.
I'm yet to see it, but Bandito is just fucking awesome. I mean, what can you say about him?
And PJ Black too. He's rocking a new look. He's very Silver Fox, daddy-esque, he's got his muscles and silver hair, like he's graying and he's just leaning into it. He's like, yeah, I got gray hair. I'm still sexy. PJ Black in this, incarnation. I'm interested to see more. PJ Black and Bandito, they tore their house down. Bandito with his, trio of suicide dives where he goes through the ropes, then he goes over and then he does the flip. Amazing. And Bandito ultimately got the win with a top rope fall away slam moonsault.
It's a very pretty move.
Yeah. It's so, like, the strength you need to do that is insane. Like, people look at the flips and they're like, oh yeah, you're very agile. No, you need super strength to do a fall away slam moonsault. And the balance to be on the top rope as well. It's just insane to witness. Bandito is a phenomenon. And he and PJ Black had a brilliant match. And this is where some of the story comes in, right? Is, something that they've been playing up throughout the entire show and throughout the TV taping is, oh, look, these new guys that are coming in, right? They're pointing out that these are new guys. Mark Haskins coming in. Adhering to Code of Honor is very important because they've all signed with Ring of Honor. They've all signed with Ring of Honor because they believe in Ring of Honor's values, that wrestling and respect and honor is real, right? And so they're putting over the fact that all these guys are very adamant on adhering to Code of Honor, raising the hand, shaking the hand, doing all the right things, right? They put it over for Finn Juice. It was very important for them to do the Code of Honor, and that's why the stuff with Trent was so contentious, because Juice was like, come on, man, it's Ring of Honor. We shake hands. It's what we do, Yeah. This is how it works. And so all these people that are coming in, the commentators and the actual wrestlers themselves through their actions are really putting over. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams was doing it as well. Even Zack Sabre Jr. was doing it. It's very important to them to adhere to the Code of Honor, right? So that's where you start to see the seeds for what this stable may become. At least because I only know that the stable has formed, and I only know what I've seen on these shows, right? So that's all I know, and so I'm putting it together in my head. That's probably what's happening here. So moving on, we get a 4-corner survival proving ground instant reward match. Rhett Titus, Jonathan Gresham, Jeff Cobb, Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor has an interesting spot here. Basically says, I have nothing to prove. I'm going to make you my bitch, he says to Jeff Cobb, and then he leaves. It's just a triple threat. It's not a 4-corner survival because he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone, I guess. So ultimately, Jeff Cobb wins easily. Decent match, nothing too special to write home about. And then after the match, Silas Young comes down, and you're like, what the hell's Silas Young doing here? Right? And then Shane Taylor attacks from behind, beating Jeff Cobb down. And Silas Young's like, all right, I did my bit, and he leaves. Then we get the women's match that I talked about, Women of Honor Street Fight. Kelly Klein, Jenny Rose fight without honor for the world title. Kelly Klein did the Justin Roberts spot in the middle of this match.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? Yeah, took the tie off the announcer and wrapped it around Jenny Rose's throat. And the Colt Cabana, he's like, that's the Justin Roberts. She's doing the Justin Roberts move. You can't say that. And he's like, hi, Justin Roberts, if you're watching. Hope this isn't bringing back bad memories. It's like, of course it's bringing back bad memories when you're calling it the Justin Roberts.
That's so good. He's such he's one of the best on the mics. I just love it.
Yeah, I do very much enjoy Colt Cabana. So there was another really good spot in the match where Jenny Rose grabbed a chokehold on Kelly Klein, like she's up on the shoulders on the apron with the chokehold in, and then Kelly jumped through a table that was at ringside that had been set up earlier with Rose on her back. Sort of, suicide spot. It was fantastic. Really good spot. Then gets a win after a K-power onto the chairs, after kicking out of a superplex onto the chairs, which was pretty brutal. She landed right on, like, the jagged part of the pile. So, thoughts and prayers for Kelly Klein and Jenny Rose, because they put their bodies through hell in this match. I'd say this was probably second best match of the night, actually. Or maybe third, because the next one was really good as well. Villain Enterprises versus Briscoes and Silas Young. Villain Enterprises gel really well as a team. And this, credit to the Briscoes and Silas, this match was all about putting over how good Villain Enterprises are. And so Villain Enterprises just shone throughout the entire match. PCO and Mark Briscoe just trading super stiff shots and having PCO no sell them, but Mark Briscoe semi-sell them was a really fun sequence. You get what I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, it wasn't like he'd hit PCO and PCO would no sell it, then he'd hit Mark Briscoe and Mark Briscoe would go down like a ton of bricks. But Mark Briscoe would be like, ooh, that hurt, shake it off, go again. And PCO would just, like Hulk through it. It was really fun to see. Then, I mean, just some of the stuff they did, some of the double and triple team moves that they came up with, Brody King doing his, you know, crazy big man lucha stuff that he does, cause he's from California. So he's like, I'm lucha inspired. And so he does all that stuff on the ropes into an arm drag and throws the guys out of the ring. And then straight away, PCO hits the ropes and King hits a back body drop onto PCO over the ropes onto the guys on the outside.
Insane.
Yeah, just like fun little stuff like that. There was very fast paced. Marty put a Boston Crab on Jay Briscoe and PCO hits a leg drop onto the back of the neck, right? And then immediately, Marty rolls him over and it gets him up onto his knees in like a surfboard sort of position. And then, Brody King came in and did a senton onto the knees.
Okay.
Right? So like they had a lot of fast paced, like boom, 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 triple team moves. A lot like, the Four Nations do, right?
Yeah.
The Four Nations are really good with those, you know, well thought out double team, triple team moves.
Yeah, like the combinations, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot like watching them. Like it looked like these guys have been teaming forever, and this is their first match as a trio. So really cool. Brody King hits the Gonzo bomb, PCO hits the PCO moonsault, and PCO pins Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe, a man who a former Ring of Honor world champion, so big debut for PCO. Villain Enterprises get the win. They may even be too big for the 6-man titles, to be honest with you, already.
Well, yeah, because I imagine I imagine Marty's going to go to the world title.
Yeah, I've said for a while that Marty would be the next Ring of Honor world champion, but given that, you know, it's pretty much a given once his contract expires in April, he's going to leave. So I don't know if Ring of Honor will pull the trigger on it. I don't think we're ever going to see Marty Scurll as Ring of Honor world champion.
It'll be very interesting. Does he, like, by that stage, do All Elite and Ring of Honor have a relationship? Does he walk out with the Ring of Honor title?
I don't think All Elite and Ring of Honor are going to have a relationship. I think that, you know, Ring of Honor, like, All Elite wanted to work with Ring of Honor and New Japan from reports, but from what it seems like, New Japan want to work with All Elite, but can't because they have a contract and Ring of Honor blocked it. That's what it seems like to me, from everything we hear.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, and what's the guarantee? I know how close Marty is with the Elite, but what's there stopping Marty from not re-signing with Ring of Honor? I mean, does he want to forge his own path for like a year or so before he jumps over? He might.
I don't know. I feel like, so the angle they did on being the Elite at the moment was, you know, he's like, what's an AEW? Like, they've left him out of the loop completely.
Yeah.
So I feel like because these guys are brilliant long-term bookers. Like, look at the stories they tell on being the Elite.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me that they're not brilliant long-term bookers. They are. They have great ideas. And I imagine this going to April. His contract expires with Ring of Honor. He signs a contract with All Elite Wrestling being like, oh yeah, buddy. And then at Double or Nothing, he just decimates them and he probably aligns. It won't be with Brody King and PCO, obviously, because they've signed 3-year deals with Ring of Honor, but he'll have a new Villain Enterprises within All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think he'll turn on the Elite because you guys didn't tell me what we were doing. You guys didn't let me in on this. What the hell, you know, and he'll turn on them for that. So he'll play buddy to get the contract in kayfabe, and then he'll bring Villain Enterprises to All Elite to destroy it from the inside, kind of like an NWO type of situation.
I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know why. That's just the vibe I get, because he was, you know, on Instagram, he posted about it, like he's sitting there looking at the press conference they did, and he's like, seriously, what the hell is AEW? He's playing it well.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then we get Nick Aldis come out and he hypes up the Crockett Cup in April, and then he's going to join commentary for the world title match because he's interested in this match. It's Jay Lethal versus Dalton Castle. Case in point for why I hate automatic rematch clauses. We've seen this match too much lately. If we haven't seen it too much, it feels like we've seen it too much. There was nothing exciting about this match. Dalton Castle has lost a step since his injuries, which is unfortunate, but, it happens sometimes. And Dalton Castle, I don't think can carry a card anymore. I don't think he can main event a card. I think he belongs sort of a little bit, upper mid now. I don't like to be this negative, but the main event just didn't do it for me. It was a good match. Like, you can't have a bad match with Jay Lethal and Dalton Castle, but it was just, I've seen it. There was nothing exciting. I didn't think Jay Lethal was going to lose. There were no stakes, and this was boring to me.
Yeah, fair enough. I get what you mean with Dalton Castle. I've been watching a couple of his things since he's been back from injury. It's sad because, he was on the card, and, WWE was circling, the Sharks were circling about him, but don't know. It's
Well, do you know what the best thing he's done since coming back from the injury was? On the Jericho Cruise, when he played Ashley Remington and did the whole, I got a concussion in my first match as Dalton Castle, and now I'm on a boat and I think I'm Ashley Remington, this sea sailing captain. That was the best thing he's done since his return. And so, I'm a big fan of his comedy work. And I would love to see him do that. I would love to see, the boys become their own tag team, and maybe Dalton Castle repackages himself and comes back as Ashley Remington again, or some other comedy character that he and only he can pull off. Maybe you continue Dalton Castle and just and bring him down and let him work more comedy style stuff, because he's very good at comedy style stuff. Comedy style stuff you don't need to bump as hard as you do when you're in a Ring of Honor main event, right? So I think that's the way to go. Have Dalton Castle work a program with Hurricane.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion. I mean, there might be people out there that are like, no, Dalton Castle's the future. I disagree. He had the shot. Unfortunately, his body couldn't take it. It sucks, because I love Dalton Castle. I love the guy. I love the performer. I love everything I've seen him do up until his injury, where he's lost a step, and it sucks. I'm a big fan of Dalton Castle, and it sucks that I'm not enjoying his work at the moment.
Yeah.
But that was Honor Reigns Supreme. And so then we get the news from the TV tapings, which actually happened before Honor Reigns Supreme. I think it was the day before Honor Reigns Supreme. So it's a weird order to do things in, but that's what happens when you do TV tapings. It's so odd. It frustrates me to no end. But we got a new stable called Lifeblood. We touched on it before. And it's led by Juice Robinson. It consists of Juice Robinson, David Finlay, his tag team partner, of course, Tennille Dashwood, Mark Haskins, Hot Sauce, Tracy Williams, and Bandito. And at first glance, this looks like a really odd stable, until you realize that, okay, at the moment in Ring of Honor, you've got Bully Ray, the Briscoes, Silas Young, Shane Taylor, just sort of taking advantage of the fact that there's no real authority, right? Bully Ray was the authority, and he's since been fired. He's never been replaced, and they've been running roughshod, and I've complained about it.
Yeah.
Right? I've complained about it. There's no order in Ring of Honor anymore. And this group have all come in, and the commentators have put over how much they all want to adhere to the Code of Honor, because they all signed with Ring of Honor because, they believe in the core values of Ring of Honor, of what Ring of Honor stands for. And so they're going to stand up and say, no more of that stuff. We're coming for you, Bully Ray. We're coming for you, Shane Taylor. We're coming for you, Briscoes. We're not going to let you get away with this stuff anymore. We are here. We are this injection, this lifeblood injection into Ring of Honor, here to bring it back to its former glory, to its honorable days. And honestly, after watching Honor Reigns, I saw the news of the stable and I was like, that's a weird stable. I watched Honor Reigns Supreme and I was like, I see where this is going and I like it.
Yeah.
If that's where it's going. I hope that's where it's going.
Yeah, it's like we said at the start, I mean, when I saw the amount of people who was in it, I was like, this is a really random group of people, but some of the best stables in past have been just random bits of people. Kind of like a Taguchi Japan kind of thing, and there's no reason why Ricochet and War Machine were friends with Taguchi and stuff back in the day.
That's very random.
But it worked. They're not exactly the top stable in Japan, probably not even a real stable these days, but I don't know, like it's good, and I love the name of the group, Lifeblood. Lifeblood is a fantastic stable name. I like it. And Juice,
the name is good. The name is good.
And Juice is the right guy to have. Obviously, it's going to be a face stable with a lot of, doing the whole good guy stable thing, which I like. There's too many, heel stables. You need a face stable here and there. I like it. But
I worry that Juice isn't the right choice for leader, though, because if the New Japan agreement does go south after Madison Square Garden, then Ring of Honor are left high and dry because they've put their stock in the leader of this face group as a guy who's actually under contract to New Japan.
Yeah. I mean, like Juice himself, I feel is contract-wise, it's different, but in terms of talent, though, I believe in the Juice Robinson thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good choice in terms of talent and in terms of character, but in terms of, whether moving forward as a company, I don't know if you put your chips in anyone from New Japan until after Madison Square Garden, until after those deals get re-signed and everything gets shaken out that way. But because I'm fully expecting New Japan to leave Ring of Honor in the dust and be like, sorry guys, there's a new model. there's a new, younger, hotter, fitter model that I want to date now.
I don't think that's all elite, in my opinion. But
I really think it is. I think that I think that New Japan are Yujiro Takahashi, and they're going to trade in for a new model.
Yeah, I have a little different thought because I think now that New Japan All Elite have sort of hinted at other relationships that they're building, I think New Japan kind of doesn't fit into that. I mean, obviously New Japan says yes and All Elite want to, then obviously you got to make it happen. But I don't know. They're like, now that there's rumors that them talking about working with OWE and bringing in guys like Lindemann and maybe T-Hawk and all those sort of guys that and have relationships with them and via, I don't know, like PWG, AAA, like it feels like New Japan might not be those guys, but who knows?
Yeah, well, the key to me here, the key is Kenny Omega. We know New Japan want Chris Jericho. They want to do Chris Jericho versus Tanahashi. We know that New Japan want to keep Kenny Omega if they can. And if Kenny Omega signs with All Elite Wrestling and Chris Jericho is signed with All Elite Wrestling, chances are New Japan will jump at the opportunity to work with All Elite Wrestling so that they can still have Kenny Omega and they can still have Chris Jericho. That's where I'm getting it from. I feel like if Kenny ends up in All Elite, then we're definitely getting a New Japan relationship. And if Ring of Honor don't want to jump on board with them, then Ring of Honor are going to kind of get left in the dust. But again, cockroach, they'll be okay. Yeah. So this one kind of became the Ring of Honor show, which meant that I talked a lot, and I apologize for that. But we made it to over an hour, which is, something we didn't think we'd be able to do this
week. True. But, it was a Ring of Honor heavier week than, like, last week we had nothing really on Ring of Honor other than TV, but that's,
Yeah. Well, Honor Reigns Supreme gave us a decent amount to talk about, so that's always good. Now, where can people find you, Mikey?
At BigBoy_Mikey86 on the Instagram and Twitter. But I want to send a little question out to the universe. Whoever's listening, I want you to tweet at me or tweet at the B+, or even tweet at Greg. I want to ask a question. I'm going to do this from time to time on the podcast. I want to leave with a question. So if anyone's listening, I want them to tweet it back to me. Every 2 years in New Japan, the last couple of years, a new stable has been formed. Where do you think the next stable comes from in Japan? Where and who do you feel is the right batch to start a stable? It might just be what do you call it?
It's got to be Tanahashi, right?
It might just be a coincidence, but every 2 years, New Japan have created a new stable in the last
Fair enough. Very interesting. Very interesting. So people get those out to Mikey if you want to get involved in the discussion. I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit the B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. If you really like what we do, head over to patreon.com/theb+, where you can support us for as little as $1 a month and get our eternal gratitude. Or if you want to throw in $3, you get on the Discord. $5 gets you, ad-free episodes, bonus episodes, call-in episodes. $10 lets you tell us what we're going to talk about. It's fantastic. You get all kinds of bonuses if you sign up on Patreon and support us, and all that money goes straight back into the show to grow this thing, to help get Aussie Graps out there into the world, because that is our primary focus here. We make no bones about it. I know this is a New Japan show, but, Aussie Graps is where it's at. Robbie.
Oi, oi, oi.
That's relevant because it's New Japan, right? Thank you so much for listening.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
So, no speak English.
Dummy.
Goodbye and good night.
Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it. Dummy.